Welcome to Money News. I'm Kathleen Walter. With us now is the co-founder and CEO of the car charging group, Michael Farkas. And Mr. Farkas, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. Well, your company, Car Charging Group, Inc., a nationwide provider of convenient electric vehicle charging services, and Nissan have announced a joint initiative to make EV charging more readily available and to expand consumer awareness of the electric car market. Just what does this mean to your company specifically and the industry in general?
What it allows us to provide is a fast charging mechanism for EV owners. Instead of having to wait overnight to charge your car, you could roughly get 30%, 80% of your charge in roughly 30 minutes. It allows you to go to a place like a Walgreens or a CVS, get your prescription filled, buy what you need, and by the time you come out, you can go on your way and your car is charged.
Now, Car Charging Group also announced the closing of its acquisition of 350 Green LLC, an owner and operator of EV charging stations throughout the United States. This is the third acquisition in 2013 for car charging, as the company recently acquired Beam Charging and EV Pass. With the acquisition of 350 Green, Car Charging is now the owner of the largest independent public EV charging station network in the U.S. and the world. What's next on the horizon for your company?
We're looking for additional expansion in the United States as well as outside of the U.S. We believe there's a lot of opportunities here, as well as tremendous opportunities in Europe and Middle East and the rest of the world.
And other industry news, Better Place, an Israeli maker of electric cars, announced plans to liquidate after burning through almost $1 billion and failing to sell its silent fleet of French-made sedans to a skeptical public. How much of a blow to the industry is this?
Any bad news for any industry is not great, but the bottom line is they had a very different model than we do. They were in the entire process of the EV ownership transaction, from buying the car, leasing the battery, and then providing the electricity services for the car. We are just a pure play infrastructure company. We're not in the car business. We are not in the battery business. What we do is we serve almost as the gas station for EVs. We provide the energy necessary to power your car. And we do that by having charging stations, not changing stations. A charging station can cost you, $8,000 to $10,000 for a AC charger. For a DC fast charger, you're talking roughly, let's say, $40,000. But each of the changing stations that Better Place used, you're talking about $3.5 to $4 million or euro proposition. They couldn't beat us. We could charge cars faster because of the newer technologies that are coming out, and being able to do it for a much cheaper price.
And what's your take on Tesla Motors, the electric car maker that's tripled in market value this year? It's preparing to expand a network of fast charging stations to make its Model S a more viable alternative to gasoline-fueled cars. Tesla also raised almost $1 billion from a bond and stock offering and paid off a government loan 9 years early. How much of a boost for the industry is Tesla's success?
They're a tremendous boost. If you really look at the way that the entire dynamics of the industry, Tesla gave way towards the Chevy Volt and to the Nissan Leaf. First we had the Tesla Roadster. At that point in time, there was no Leaf, there was no Volt. And that egged on the rest of the industry. And we believe the Model S, which really, it's a game changer out there, is going to change the entire industry. We're going to start seeing much larger producers like the Audis and BMWs and Mercedes of the world come out with full electrics. And what they've done with their fast charger network and what they released today, it's amazing for the industry. But you have to put things into perspective. The Tesla fast chargers only work for Teslas. They do not work for other cars. What we focus on is technology that will work for all cars. Our charging stations work for Teslas as well as Volts, as well as Leafs, every type of plug-in EV. Tesla announced that they're putting in about 27 fast chargers. We are working with Nissan on putting out 48 fast chargers. So we're looking to handle more of the marketplace. Tesla's really looking to focus on providing the energy services for their cars, and not across the board, like in parking garages and in all the urban areas. They're really looking for it to be able to have those cars travel long distance. In my opinion, I think it's a lot of PR, but it's great PR, and it's a necessity for our industry.
Sales of all-electric Nissan Leafs surged across the 25,000 threshold after its best sales month in March, and a 423.5% year-over-year sales increase in April, cementing its position as the world's best-selling electric vehicle. Why is this important for moving electric cars forward and their market share?
it's just proving the fact that EVs work. They're not golf carts. They're something that you can drive every day. It's something that you can live with every day. I drive an EV. I plug my car in when I get home. I don't have to plug in every single day. I plug in every couple of days. And it's just showing the world that EVs work. And we're taking different jumps. We went from hybrids. Now we have plug-in hybrids. Tesla came out with full EVs. And we're going to start to see a lot of manufacturers coming out with full EVs because Tesla showed the world it can be done. Now that it can be done, and the first 3-minute mile was run, now we're going to start seeing other players enter that same marketplace. And it's better for everyone. The more cars that are out there, the cheaper the infrastructure will be, the cheaper the energy will be, because we'll have additional volume to amortize our hardware costs and our installations over. And it'll be amazing for the entire industry. A lot of these subsystems that are in these cars are shared across the board through different manufacturers. And a lot of these components that we have in EVs, they're not mass-produced as we know of mass-produced products today. And as we start seeing more and more cars, the cost of these components are going to come down dramatically, in turn, reduce the cost of EVs. And we believe it'll definitely help a lot of sales.
Mm-hmm. Last question for you, Michael. What's the single biggest challenge you face in trying to sway consumers from old technology to new technology?
It's just, in my opinion, it's people not educated enough to realize that EVs are truly a replacement for internal combustion engines. The more EVs people see out there, the more they feel comfortable getting into the cars themselves, driving them, going to the dealerships. I think once people believe and understand that these EVs are sufficient enough to handle their everyday driving. The average American drives less than 40 miles a day. The EVs of today, are going over 50 miles a day. So you really have that buffer of being able to travel, but most consumers are just unaware of it. They're unaware of the fact that there is, infrastructure out there in major urban cities like New York and LA and San Francisco, with our partners like Central Parking and Icon Parking and Walgreens and CVS and Simon Properties. We're all working towards getting the infrastructure out there. When people realize they can charge their cars beyond their home, I believe that'll egg on the market and really change the way things are. And I think we'll see a lot more of a percentage of EVs being sold than there currently are.
All right, Michael Farkas, CEO of the Car Charging Group. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching Money News.